Hey there folks, PMarine81 here. Today I just want to go over something real quick, just a little tip that I've learned over the course of probably close to a year now of carrying a 1911 every day. Something that I did notice that I didn't experience with any other caliber weapon, because this is the first 45 that I carried before, is with your ammo choices, this situation that I'm going to explain is better or worse depending on what ammo you're running, at least in my experience. Now, what I'm talking about is when you're carrying a 1911, typically this is how it's carried. It's carried cocked and locked. So you have one in the tube, safety's on, you're ready to rock and roll. Now, an issue with carrying this every day and carrying it cocked and locked is the fact that, at least if you're like me, when I go to put the weapon away, I unload it. Or if you're cleaning it or whatever is going on, that happens at least once a day that I'm unloading the weapon. Now, what I've noticed is from constantly rechambering around, because I do keep this topped off also, so I'm chambering around, pulling the mag out, topping that mag back off, and putting it back in the weapon, is after a few times of doing that, this is kind of what happens to the round. Let me get an example. These three are fresh out of box. This is one that has been chambered a few times. I'll try to do this as best I can for you where you can tell. You can see how the round is now, shoved down into the casing. And surprisingly, this doesn't really take too long for this to happen. And obviously, when something like this is going on, you're changing the, dimensions of the round. That's just asking for malfunctions, feeding problems, whatever. And it does do that. Because basically what I've been doing is, once I notice that it's starting to do that, and I'll take a fresh round and I'll kind of line it up, and I'll see if it's starting to shorten down. I'll pull that round, grab a fresh round, and then all I do really is I keep it separated in an ammo can in just a plastic bag like this. And I'll still use that ammo. Basically what I do is it's just junk ammo at that point to me when I go out to the range and I'm just messing around, because it will still fire, but you will get double feeds and stuff like that, and it malfunctions a lot. So I don't, for obvious reasons, I don't keep that in my weapon when I'm carrying it for reliability purposes. Now, as far as the brand of ammunition that seems to do better about it taking longer, or it doesn't really do it as often compared to other brands, these are the three brands that I've ran since I've owned this weapon through it. This first one is Winchester, white box. This is Speer, the Lawman type, the blue and white. And this is Federal, which is like the black and red box behind you. So far, I haven't ran much of this Federal through it, so I'm not going to really give my 2 cents on the Federal yet. I've ran a lot of the white box and a whole lot of this Speer, or that's the Winchester. The Speer, the Lawman stuff. And I'll tell you, this Speer, the Lawman, it's crap. Now, with that being said, it does this whole... I just threw it back in the bag. It does that whole shortening thing really bad, really quick. It only takes like a few times of chambering around, and it'll start shoving the bullet down into the casing. The Winchester white box doesn't really seem to do that much, and if it does do it, it takes quite a while for that to happen. As I said, the Federal, I'm not going to really give my 2 cents on that yet. It seems okay so far, but I haven't done it enough to where I'll give my opinion on that yet. If you have run a 1911, you've ran Federal, let me know. Give me a heads up if you encounter the same problem. Just FYI, if you're looking to bulk up on some ammo, this Speer, it runs fine. I haven't had it give me any kind of problems if it's out of box. But if it is carried and it's cycled a couple times, that it causes problems. It jams down into that casing. Let me grab another one for you. That one's not that bad. Sorry about this. I'll do that back in here. Here's a good one. It doesn't do this, nearly as quick, and that's a real bad example of that when that happens. I don't know if it's just that the casing is not met with the round real well. It's loose in there, sort of. But I mean, I understand the reason why it kind of does that, because if you have owned 1911s before in the past, you know that this feed ramp, I don't even know if you're going to be able to see that. No, you can't really see it real well. But the slope on this feed ramp is very, very steep compared to a lot of other firearms. And that's really the only thing that I can chalk it up to. You know, I'm not an expert, but from what I can see, that would make sense to me. And it's probably a lot of the reasons why a lot of hollow points don't function well in 1911s is because this feed ramp is it's not a gradual slope. It's very steep. You know, so that round, when it's feeding up into the barrel, it has a lot of force on the nose of it. So I think that's kind of why it does that. But if anybody has like a real good explanation as to why they do this, other than what I just said, let me know. You know, I'd like to know a little bit more about why that happens with these, and I've never experienced that with running, you know, 40 Smith & Wesson or 9mm Luger. But there you go. I just thought I'd throw that out there. And by the way, all of these mags that you see behind you, I mean, not that I really think that it was a mag-related issue, but all of these mags in 3 different manufacturers, it all does the same thing. It doesn't matter what magazine, so it's not like the magazine is somehow causing this, which, as I said, I highly doubt that was even had anything to do with it. But there you go. Just a little tip. If you guys have any questions or anything, or you know a little bit more about what I'm talking about here, feel free to leave it. And thanks for watching. Purple Rain 81 out.